Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome to Banners of Ruin. This is a game that had been in early access for quite some time, but it finally came out last week. You are looking at a full release build here, okay, just give me a second on this. It is a roguelite deck builder. Yes, another one of those, but this one's doing some interesting things with the way the cards work, and there's a whole positional tactical combat layer to it, and I think it's really interesting. I also think it's beautiful. I really, really love the art style. You can see over here, this is not a big silly hat. This is a world of anthropomorphic animal people, and I really like sort of the tack that they have taken with that. So I've played a little bit of it. I think I understand the basics so that I can explain them to all of you. And I guess, yeah, let's just go. We get to start with any combination of bear and a mouse as our first two characters. Let's just do one of each and hit begin here. So sort of the core engagement paradigm, the way that we interact with the game world, is this system of cards that represent travel. We will travel in one of three directions at each junction. Well, most of the time, you'll see. And each choice represents something a little bit different. So we can, here we can take on some doggedness and start our next combat with a bunch of bonus armor, or we can get some provisions from a helping hand, or we can just improve the max HP of our characters. So we have here our two characters, Cosling and Roofer Smot, which is a very good bear name, each with their own stamina and will and unique symbol that represents them, which you'll see why that's important in a moment. Let's take some... The extra max HP does sound pretty good. You know what? Let's take the Vitality. You can see here, our way is blocked. Sharp granite stones flank you, thick with moss and smelling foul. There is only one way forward. Raucous laughter echoes down the dark, damp tunnel. The enders won't suspect a thing. There's plot, but it has, like, I just played the tutorial and a little bit of a normal run, and almost nothing has been revealed to me. We're sneaking into a city for some reason. I assume that it will get sort of doled out throughout the course of this thing. You emerge from the black and find yourself in one of the guard bunks. Well, that's bad luck. Where the devils did you come from? You can't be here. And yet here we are. Okay, so we got a mouse and a rabbit, and when we mouse over them, so you can see, it's our turn first. Each of our characters has stamina and will that can be used to play cards and various abilities up here. Each different race of characters has a different racial ability that you can fire with your will. And then cards mostly cost stamina, but occasionally a card will cost will as well if it's particularly powerful. Very standard stuff for the genre. If we mouse over enemies, we can see what their intent is for the next round. So this rabbit is going to deal 8 damage to our mouse, and this mouse is also going to deal 8 damage to our mouse, unless somebody can do something. So let's start by... This is not a great hand. So we got some defense here. The ability to discard a card to gain charge, which adds damage to our next attack, which I think we are probably going to go ahead and take. We're taking a total of 8 damage. All right, let us... Here, we're going to use guard with the mouse. So notice there's this concept of an active character. Whenever we play a card, we are spending one character's resources on it. They are the active character for that card. So we'll let our mouse just take this stuff. I am going to discard the other guard because we're not going to use it. Get a little bit of charge at least. And then we're also going to fire off our ability here. So for each hit in our next attack, we're going to gain 3 charge. We'll remove fury and charge from the enemy. Obviously, they don't have any fury or charge here. It doesn't matter. I'm just doing this to set us up for next turn. So, since we have 3 charge for that other card we played, our next attack is going to do 3 extra damage on each hit. We're going to take this 5, put it right up against that guy. And then because of our racial ability, that added another 3 charge, which we can use next turn. All right, we're also going to have our bear throw down on this guy. And then we're really out of stuff to do. The bear's racial ability removes a lot of types of debuffs and gains defense for each thing that you removed. So I know approximately what is in my deck. I'm hoping that this this build up charge and then pass the turn strategy comes to fruition here. It didn't really. There's a multi-attack card in our deck somewhere that sadly we just didn't draw. It's fine. So this fellow here only has 1 health left. Obviously, pretty easy to bring him down. Let's just go ahead and drop him. All right, this one is also going to go after the mouse, again, to the tune of 6 damage. But you can see here, we have a card in our hand that has the mouse's symbol on it. That's because this card is related to the equipment that he's actually holding. He is equipped with this round shield, so only he can do the round shield card. And we'll just go ahead and do it. Let's just apply 10 more armor there. And then he can also guard allies with his shield, obviously. Not entirely necessary. This card here deals weapon damage, so damage based on the weapon the character is actually equipped with, which is different for our 2 characters here, obviously. We'll just go ahead and stick that guy with it and apply a bleed, which works very similarly to the way bleeds usually work in these roguelite deck builders. He's going to take some damage at the beginning of his turn, and then a stack is going to come off the bleed. Alright, and there we go. Pretty straightforward. Hey, we found our multi-attack. It's, we still have 3 charge up. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that with you. So 4 damage, 3 times. It's pretty good. Alright, after a battle, you get some loot. All of the loot is optional. You don't have to take anything. Obviously we wanted the money, but do we want to add a card to our deck? Of course, if you've ever played a deck builder before, you know it's not necessarily a great idea to grow your deck too much. You want to make sure you are getting cards that are worth something at least. I will say, card draw is tremendously valuable in this game. You may have noticed that we often end the turn with characters still having stamina left over, and that's going to get even truer as we gain more party members. So I think I do want this Bloodlust. I don't know that it's necessarily going to be great for us right now, but it'll get really good as we go on. And so we enter the city. You open the hatch and do that thing that I said. And unfortunately are immediately surrounded by foes. So you can see up here at the top of the screen, we have an indication of how many cards are in our deck, how many party members we have, and our number of florins, that's the currency. If we click on this, we can take a quick look at our characters. So we have, here we go. We have our equipment. You can see our bear is currently equipped with light armor that's giving him extra stamina, some more weapon swinging, and the mouse is kind of in tank mode with the shield and whatnot. I think I want to keep it that way for the moment because the bear has the larger and more impressive weapon that also requires more stamina to swing. The mouse's weapon can gain charge, which combines pretty well with the fact that because he is a mouse, he has a tendency to, as we level up, we'll gain more race-specific cards, and a lot of the mouse cards have multiple attacks on them. So it's a good idea for the mouse to have some source of charge. So for the moment, we're not going to mess with this too much. At the end of each of these lanes, as we move forward, you can see the number of cards that are left in this lane. We will find a service toward the end of the lane that will do something very significant for us. My number one concern at the moment is getting more characters into the party. But my experience is that these are going to deplete pretty evenly because... Well, hold on. Let's get through this combat and then we'll talk about it. So, just a couple of mice, both going after the bear, which is a little awkward. And we don't have a lot of fancy tools to get around it. So let's just go ahead and fire off a guard on the bear. They're going to hit for 8 each. Well, you know, we might just be able to get through one of them, right? Because this is going to deal 12 damage. Yeah, in fact, we totally will be able to. All right, let's go to our mouse, fire off our, for each hit in your next attack, gain charge ability. We'll do just a normal strike, gain ourselves 3 charge, and then we will use that charge to super rush this dude down. And he will survive that, but be low enough that the bear can finish him off. All right, and now our 11 armor is plenty. So damage to your character, damage to the characters themselves, their actual vitality bar, persists between combat. As you can see, our mouse is still at 31, but your armor resets every combat. So, all right, let's talk about positions. You can notice that there are 2 ranks, and what might be a little bit harder to see is that there are actually 3 rows here in combat. So when an enemy intends an attack like this, they're targeting the row. They'll hit whatever is closest to them in this row. If we take our mouse here and just move him out of the way, the attack still targets the row, and now it's just going to harmlessly strike nothing. And we don't really have a lot of value to do here. Let's just go ahead and... Once again, running out of useful things to do long before we run out of stamina. It would be really nice to be able to draw some cards. Alright, this turn he's after the bear again. I could have totally just let him hit the mouse, and I probably should have, given how much armor the mouse has. Alright, let's give him the longsword, and then the hatchet. Easy enough. Ooh. Poison. Deal damage equal to stacks of poison at the start of the target's turn and then increases by 1. That seems mighty good. I had not seen poison. Ruin all cards in hand. Deal 5 damage for each card ruined. Changes it into a ruin card. Sadly, it doesn't tell us what that does. I do wish that, like, there's a lot of colored text here that, you know, you get pop-ups like, this is what this word means, but it's not thorough enough. Like, you can see we're not getting pop-ups for the text within the tooltips, so, like, I don't actually know what tooth and nail does. It seems like it must be pretty good in order for it to be worth the 2 stamina you'd have to pay for it. When this card is discarded by a character, choose an ally to apply 18 armor or an opponent to deal 18 damage, but only to their armor. I think we're going to take the poison. A constantly increasing damage over time effect seems pretty good. All right, so you saw a lot of the cards have numbers in the top right. Every time you make a choice, all of the cards you didn't choose, their number will decrement, and if it gets to 0, they get washed away. So we're sort of proceeding down all of the paths at the same speed, but it's not always going to be like that. Sometimes we'll run into cards that have like a 3 on them or something. You'll see, it does get a little bit more uneven. So here we have a wishing well. A humble stone well reveals itself to you in the center of the street. A frail old beggar kneels beside it. We get an upgrade token. So that's a thing we can put on a card to permanently change how it works. We don't really need to heal. Or you dispatch militia guards with ease, however, one mouse is left begging at your feet for his life. Well, first of all, that's a very grim and sad situation, and secondly, I want upgrade tokens, so. A frail old beggar kneels beside it. You approach the well to find the beggar muttering a low, quiet prayer. Most folk don't know what this is, the beggar whispers without lifting his bowed head. I see the crow's foot on your cloaks. Speak his name, and he shall reward you. So we can gain a lucky charm. Or gain a random upgrade token. Also remove a card from your deck. Yo, I like that. Kneel beside the beggar and pray. Let's remove a card from our deck and gain a random upgrade token. Because I don't think these guard cards are very good, frankly. And what did we get? The next time this character attacks... This is some amount of charge. Oh, sorry, the text is right there. Gain 3 charge. Yeah, actually, I like that a lot. So let's put that on one of the just like character agnostic basic attacks so that we can play it and then like play our rush afterward. Yeah, so now this card does that in addition to its normal text. I do kind of wish that it would put that text into the box. But I'm sure they didn't do that because probably we're going to run into cards that have a lot more text on them already, and it would be hard to necessarily fit in. Okay, a heavy patrol. So you can see the combat symbol on this one has a skull or something in it. It's like a big cyclops skull. I don't know. I'm sure this is a harder combat than normal. These off-duty guards will turn into drunken guards. Leave them to their devices and they'll probably pass out. Or you find yourself faced with a hard situation. If you can set up a distraction, you might be able to work around it. Select a card, move it to this lane, and add one to its counter. Huh. Let's bounce the heavy patrol over here. Alright, so that expires. Oh, weird. So the drunken guards replaced the... Huh, that is not what I was expecting to happen. A fine opportunity to fleece these idiots for every penny on them. They'll face worse when they're disciplined. So, fighting is valuable because you can see there is an XP meter on our characters. Leveling up is valuable, but also, that is a lot of money. That more than doubles the amount of money we have. So I think we're going to go ahead and grab it. Okay, just put it over top of the heavy patrol, I see. An old gray hare sits at his merchant stall offering a wide selection of exotic trinkets. So this again is just bonus armor. I'm actually really curious what this will do. Augment your party. Augment them in what way? The stall features a dusty old green tablecloth on which a few dozen items sit, each no bigger than a mouse paw. Your gaze drifts to the group of wooden trinkets, and then to one in particular, a crow's foot brooch. Aye, friend, that's what you think it is, the old hare whispers. Genuine hornbeam, ironwood, black church iron. After a brief pause, he continues. It ain't right what happened there, to your people. He points to the brooch. A friend of mine gave me that, half a lifetime ago now. He met his end, same as the tree that bore this, I expect. In flames. After a longer, pensive pause... Take it. It should be with its own. I never did know how to wear it proper anyway. So, we can wear the brooch Dexter. Dexter and Sinister just means on our right side and on our left side, right? So start your next 3 combats with 3 restoration. Again, kind of wish we had tooltip text for that, although we can certainly guess. Or opponents in your next 3 combats are really easy, but you don't get any money or XP. No, thank you. I have very strong feelings about experience. We could get some intelligence. You find a letter from your superiors detailing important information concerning the enemy. Or we could heal. No, this is experience that I don't have to fight for. Obviously, I take that. Okay, well. Combat with an elite. If you're quick, you can duck away and avoid any suspicious guards. You'll probably get some weird looks from other folks. I think at this point we're going to take on the heavy patrol. I do want to fight for our XP. I was just making sure we got as much value as we could from the other stacks first. Okay, yeah, definitely a little bit harder. So 8 damage, and if the opponent has armor, applies 2 stacks of vulnerable, which causes them to take 25% bonus damage. Okay. So you're going to hit the mouse, you're going to hit the mouse, you're going to hit the bear. Well, I guess let's get rid of the scoundrel first, right? So if active characters in the front rank deal 4 bonus damage. Okay, let's just go ahead and fire our ability right now. Because I'm going to do this, and we're going to end up with 6 charge, right? So then this is going to do 21 damage by itself. It is really a shame that that's not quite enough to kill this guy. But we can start in on one of the others here. It's like we'll just soften you up. Then this will leave you at 1 health. And then the bear can finish you off with poison tip, I guess. This is not like an optimal application of poison, obviously, but this attack does 10 damage. It feels like we definitely want to put the 10 damage somewhere that it's going to actually matter, right? Okay, so a very small amount of real damage there. All right, we are able to get some charge off of our hatchet here, but I don't know that it matters a huge amount. Let's start with sharpened steel on this guy, which is going to put him at a point where he only needs to take one more hit to go down. Oh, right. How does the restoration actually work? On turn end, gain vitality for every stack of restoration and ticks down. Okay. So it's like backwards poison. The anti-poison. Well, I guess I'm just going to bloodlust him. He needs to take 3, right? It's a shame that I never have the opportunity to actually draw cards off of that. Yeah, I guess let's just crack your armor, get a little bit of charge, and then use that charge to do a very small amount of extra damage. I do wish the animations played out just a little bit more quickly. I'm sure there's probably an option for that in the settings menu. I can toggle between episodes or something. Let's just give him the big strikes here. So actually, we're not quite gonna get there. Were you attacking the mouse? Okay, well. Actually, sorry, you're not. This intent has a target, despite the fact that actually all he's doing is gaining armor. That probably shouldn't be targeted. Okay, boy. We don't have 10 damage. What we can do is move him into the rank behind him. So you'll notice there's this red indicator on this their front rank. Only one of the enemy's ranks gets to act in each turn. So for this turn, because there are only units in the front, they've selected their front rank. If we just boot him to the back row, he is no longer acting this turn, and we can still hit him just fine. If there are enemies in both ranks, they just alternate. But that could be a good way to buy yourself a turn. So we got some level ups, we got some money, we got potentially some equipment. That's interesting. Ooh. Weapon damage plus 8. Sadly, that is a lot of stamina. But you know, a pretty significant amount of the time we end the turn with stamina to spare. And that is a really big single hit. I'm going to take it. And equipment. We found ourselves a crossbow. Gain pacified, but also 3 charge when you fire it. Huh. And a club that does 9 damage and applies vulnerable. I don't know if I mean, we can take these things with us. I will say, though, this is not like as trivial a decision as it looks. Things that are in your stash, weapons that are in your stash, weapons and armor, still show up in your deck. You just can't use them because nobody's equipped with them. So, like, there's this idea of traveling light keeps you efficient. If you're carrying around a lot of extra stuff, then you're sometimes you just draw dead cards. I don't know that I like the club enough for that to be a thing. I do like 13 damage for a single point. Yeah, we'll hold on to this. That's a two-handed weapon, obviously. And I don't think I would want either of our current characters to wield that. So, we both leveled up. When your characters level up, they get either an extra talent that is an extra card that is specific to them for your deck, or a passive ability. And I think it just alternates level by level. So at level 2 you always get a skill, and at level 3 you always get a passive. And then you also get to upgrade maximum stamina or will. Stamina recharges every turn of battle. Will only recharges at the beginning of a new battle. So I think we're going to take stamina for the bear. I think the bear's racial ability is just not nearly as broadly useful as the mouse one. We may take a will upgrade on our mouse. It's possible. If this character's next attack deals damage to vitality, you may move or swap the opponent. That seems very good. Oh, also this seems very good. Wow, 20 damage for a single point of stamina. Deal weapon damage X times for every stack of... Okay, that's worded a little bit. What they mean is deal weapon damage X times where X equals the number of stacks of winded that you have. We don't currently have a way of getting winded, so that's probably not the call. I like execute a lot. I like them both a lot, honestly. Let's take the execute. It doesn't matter what position the enemy is in if they are dead. And what about you? 3 damage 3 times to an opponent's lane, the entire lane, but shuffle an injury into your discard pile. And again, no tooltip for injury, so I don't know exactly. I'm assuming it's a card that does nothing, but it could be worse than that, right? It could be a card that does nothing and like deals you a damage when you draw it or something. Deal weapon damage. If opponent has no allies on that rank, deal weapon damage 2 additional times. Oh, that's very powerful some of the time. Or deal 4 damage 3 times, gain 5 retaliate. Whenever this character receives damage, they deal damage equal to their stacks of retaliate back. If this breaks the target's defenses, refund the card, but it costs 4 stamina to do it, and we would not be able to play it right now. Unless I swapped, like, if we did a stamina upgrade and then I swapped you to light armor. I think I'm going to take this one. I think they're all interesting. But his base weapon damage is 8. That outnumbered will sometimes deal 24 damage. And then I'm honestly considering maybe we do want to upgrade Will. Being able to fire the mouse ability twice per combat does seem pretty okay. And yeah, we already have enough stamina usually to play our whole hand, so. Okay, so fight or big fight. I mean, we should find out what elite means, right? Ooh, that's a neat effect. There you are, a voice declares as you emerge from a stifling back alley. Run them down so we can flee. No, we're going to go for it. I'm going to stand my ground, probably die, but I want to know how elite is. Oh, wow, okay. That's 5 enemies, all of whom have more health and armor than anything that we have so far faced. 10 damage and a bleed. Remember, the ranks alternate in turns. We're not going to get hit by everything right away. 12 damage and 5 defense. Yeah, we probably are dead, huh? This is really bad. Well, I see no reason not to open with the sword strike. We can get a little thing going with Cosling. They both have a weapon damage of 8, right? Yeah, so... yeah, let's fire this off. Man. 20 damage. 5 damage deals an additional 15 if this character's in the back rank. So if we can figure out a way to move them around, it would help a lot. So let's hit once to trigger the charge, then give him the rush. Then also poison him. Then also hit him with the sharpened steel. Alright, in a couple of turns we'll have one of them down. Alright, so now we know though. This is not like a, hey, the run's going pretty well, maybe we can handle the elite type thing. This is a, you absolutely must not click on the elite battle. type thing. Okay, can we... So they're both shooting middle. I don't have any movement, though. We are going to be able to get through their armor, so we can pull and execute on one of them, but it's not gonna matter. Okay, let's keep working on the front rank. So this guy's gonna go down to... At the start of the target's turn, I assume he only takes the damage on turns where his rank acts. Probably. So he's effectively got 9 health left. We can probably just take him out on the next turn. I'm gonna start working on this other guy. So I think what we want to do with you is probably just do solid footing. Just tank those shots as best you can there, little friend. And then the bear. The bear has work to do. So first up, vanguard this guy. Get his armor out. And then we can execute him for half of his remaining HP. Yep, there's the big one. And yeah, okay, the poison does not tick down. Okay, so you're gonna hit the whole rank for 6. Gains 5 armor for every opponent hit. This character's shielding is raised to 35, then they deal 8 damage. Okay. And you're hitting middle. So... this is not a very good hand. We just kind of like didn't draw cards that do things, which is a real shame. Well, this is actually really rough because we need to hit this guy for 9, and we have to play the outnumbered to get there. Which means that I can't use my shield. I was kind of hoping that there'd be a version of this where we killed both of the ferrets? Or weasels, or whatever they are. But no, we are definitely not getting there. And it sucks that that's 1 point not enough. I could have done momentum to discard the guard. Or momentum to discard the round shield, since we couldn't have played the round shield anyway to do that there, and then I could have just... then the bear can strike this guy, which is better. It's definitely a screw up. It doesn't matter too much probably, but yeah, that was the wrong sequencing. Well, you may as well guard yourself, which we still would have been able to do. Alright, 1 down. And the mouse doesn't actually die from this, at least. Pretty close, though. Okay, so this is a less dangerous attack, and we do actually have our withdrawal. You can see we did draw the crossbow. Here is the charge up strike. Let's go ahead and do the... oh wait, sorry. Let's do the charge up strike with the mouse on this guy, and then hatchet real good here. So we've got some charge built up for next turn. The bear can shove his teammate out of the way. And then I can just kick this other dude to the back rank because we know the front rank's going to go next. We just basically deny him a turn. Oh, shoot. No, sorry. It only works if the space behind them is empty. Well, we weren't doing anything else with that stamina anyway. This is gonna hurt, though. Huh. I guess the targeting reticle on the attack must have meant that it'll change lanes with the target. I'd never seen that on an attack before. The good news is we still needed to do that because we needed to apply the 5 armor to him. So once again, we have been left with precious little damage. It is enough to kill, though. Sadly, 18 damage is not an amount that we can realistically deal with. Yeah. So, like, your turn has to be hatchet and round shield. And then, are you considered an ally of yourself? You are. Okay. That's almost good enough. Because otherwise, this guy doesn't die. And it's pretty important that that guy die, right? And then I'm going to poison you. And sadly, I cannot confer the 5 armor onto my teammate here. We did better at this than I thought we were going to. Oh, poison deals damage to armor. Huh. Counterintuitive, right? It's weird that that works that way. Okay, let's I mean, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna discard this rush. Sorry, gotta click on that again. Discard rush, and then we're gonna hit with this. You know, for some reason I was thinking I needed to hit with the strike first. I was gonna stack up all of the bonus damage on the longsword. I mean, it doesn't matter. We do not get there, but I totally did get through that guy's armor. Take this. Okay, so we learned something. An elite battle is like actually very, very difficult. Ouch. I did win 3 combat encounters, though. We got some XP. Interesting. The different races also have their own XP meters. And we're unlocking new stuff. You know, it's a roguelite. There's always got to be that feeling of forward progression, even if you do something not too sharp. So what actually happens if we level you up? Okay. 4 character XP to next tier. Weasels are recruitable. 105 XP to unlock. Okay, we have to get to level 2. Alright, I see how this works. What does it take to unlock the others? Get to level 7. Okay, so a lot of leveling to do, it turns out. Alright, well, that's an idea of what awaits us here in Banners of Ruin, and we learned some very valuable things there. That's going to be it for us for today, and thank you all so much for watching. When you come back next time tomorrow, we're going to try that again, but we are absolutely not going to take on the elite encounter. They are not joking when they said it was elite. So come back next time for that, for smarter decision making, because now we have information. And we'll see you then.